tonight, so.
I have 12:05 and let's call the meeting to order.
Okay.
The printout for the notes of the last meeting
Scott, could you grab me one of those?
in the packet.
I'll get one to you, too.
By
Is that the same?
as, and
Oh.
do I have
I see.
proposal
Oh, collated.
to approve the meeting notes?
I motion.
I second.
Any opposed to approve?
No.
Second printout there is the 2023 Orem Arts Council meeting schedule. January, March, May, July, September, November.
Oh,
We just always want to double check and make sure that Friday at noon is still a good time for meetings. And then we do the every other meeting as shown.
And this is all good,
Is
good
there
timing for Summerfest stuff too?
Yeah, the Summerfest is in June, so we finalize various parts of the summer calendar usually in May. So I think it's fine for the Summerfest. Whether or not you want to have a meeting in July is up to you guys. We moved the summer concert series some years ago to start in July rather than to start immediately after the Summerfest ends in June. And that really helps us with grant reporting because then we have all of the summer concerts from one season in the same fiscal year. And the grants are awarded on a fiscal year basis. So we pay for the summer concert series from a grant from the state of Utah. So that helps us. We used to start them right after Summerfest, and I think it was fine either way. I don't think attendance has been affected negatively by changing it to July. We've just had to decide whether we want the first meeting or the first summer concert to be too close to the holiday or whatever. In 2023, the first Monday in July will be July 3rd, so it's not exactly the holiday, but I mean, we can take some direction on that, whether you want to wait and start it after that or just start it on the 3rd and offer it.
I would say start after, because you're right in the middle of the Freedom Festival, there's plenty of activities, and so you're gonna compete pretty heavy with them.
The 24th of July is on a Monday this year. We did a concert on the 24th this year, 25th we did it, which you guys can say whether you want a concert on the 24th.
I think that's good. What do you think? It's a good holiday for everyone to come together. I think you get good attendance, you get good attendance. It's my opinion.
If we can discuss more the schedule for next year's events in our next meeting in January. For now, the item on the table is these meetings.
Yeah, that's good.
And is there any discussion on the meetings, the town arts council meetings?
No.
Do I have a motion to accept?
A motion.
A second? Any opposed to the meeting schedule? Thank you. Next item of business is the city council presentation on December 13th, 2022.
I pulled together the pictures, I haven't thrown them into a PowerPoint yet, but pretty much what we have to highlight this year would be the Sweetheart Serenade, which was in February around Valentine's Day. That was the first year that they had this kind of community sing-along opportunity. And then these were pictures from the Summerfest activities.
It's not showing up on the screen.
Oh, sorry. So Sweetheart Serenade, Summerfest on the stage. We had that group. I take a lot of pictures of that group because they do a really good job, and we're trying to be more inclusive as far as our grant funding goes. This was the BYU Symphony Alumni Band is what they call themselves, so we packed as many people on the stage as we possibly could for that, and that's Dave Blackington leading it. They had 3 different conductors, so that was kind of a fun and special event. They sounded really good too. I can play the little clip. I don't know if it'll... Very limited rehearsal, they just kind of stopped in and... Sorry, move that.
These guys performed during the farmers market.
There's a couple of different groups, so it depends on which group it was, but yeah, there's some amazing groups, and they have performed in the summer concert series before, and generally one of us performs at the Summerfest because we try to move it around and give everybody an opportunity. That event was really fun because they had actually a mother and son playing from both their time in the symphony. And I think they did it because Ray Smith was retiring. He was on the Arts Council years ago. We had this big fathers group that did a great job. Serious Acting Up always comes and does an amazing job. People love them at the Summerfest, so we had them come. So that was fun. We just tried to...
Who was this?
Sarah's Acting Up.
Oh, right.
And then this goes to the summer concert series. These aren't very good photos, but this is the Wasatch Show Band. We don't have to show all of the photos to the presentation. It just was, this is the one that got rained out, that got rescheduled, so we'll just click by that one. Just try to show the crowd as it develops over, the course of the event, so that that was a piece for the Tri-Chevys that we had to, they wanted to move in because they were afraid of the weather. That one was super fun.
Where does it, you just moved it in here to the
Auditorium.
auditorium?
So we had that, and then I think this was, I kind of toast on my memory today, I'm sorry. But, so I will throw those into a drive or into a presentation. Are there other things besides that? We can give them an update on the utility boxes, but we don't have as much of an update as we would like,
If you
but
throw those into a drive, I can build that PowerPoint for you, save you some time.
okay, yeah, they're in the drive, so.
So you're putting in all of the things that happened during the summer in that?
Yeah, that's what we've done. We have the Sweetheart Serenade, we have the Summer Fest, we have the Summer Concert Series, and then the boxes. That's what I have for Arts Council stuff this year. If there's stuff that I missed, I'm ready to take notes for it for sure.
I noticed you had the TSO, Timpanogos Symphonic Orchestra here.
That was the rental, so they rented Library Hall for that.
Oh, okay. That wasn't Orem sponsored event.
That was not. I mean, we have, the library does a full calendar of cultural events, but they aren't generally associated with the Arts Council.
Our auditorium will hold 250.
492.
Okay. Pretty big. I'm sure TSO filled it to overflowing.
Do they know when they're gonna break ground on the new city offices?
I would say March, but don't quote me on that. We're not really as part of that discussion because we are staying right where we are, so. There's a lot of design going on though right now.
Is that gonna go on in the parking lot area? They gonna put the parking lot?
More up like the southwest corner of the front area of the city center.
Oh, okay.
And then once it's built, they'll take this part of the building down and reconfigure the green space and the parking.
Take it down all the way to the library?
We've asked them to keep the breezeway that they have recently remodeled because it has single occupancy or family bathrooms, and it also provides a place where we can ask if you, hey, if you have to eat or you need to have a loud conversation, you can, come outside the library and do that. And we have people utilize those tables for a variety of things, so we wanted to keep that, and they're trying to make that happen. The library's boiler HVAC system is connected to this building because the south wing of the library and this building were built at the same time, but they will be ultimately disconnecting and the library will have a separate system.
I would propose that we as the Arts Council put together some kind of a display in this new city hall for the history of Orem, and maybe some patriotic displays also. Some Americana, some things that display our country's history also.
You guys can give it a try. I don't know how much room there is, but I'm not that privy to the size issues of planning. But
Can we do that though as a council? Can that be a council project?
I mean, I don't know if the city is planning on that, but we can ask. But I don't know.
I think it'd be good to ask, at least. Make it something that even school kids can come in and see, and learn about, make it sort of an educational place, And they can come in and learn about this history of Orem and the county and maybe even how the city government operates, I don't know, is that us that would do it, or is that someone else?
I can't quite
I don't know that would fall
envision
under
the
purview.
art part of it, but I'm not privy to what kind of items would be showcased. I don't know what, if it is like a travel show or
Don't we have a heritage museum in Orem?
Yes,
So it already exists.
yeah. It exists, true. I'd like to see a concentric, it's sort of just one big wall, to show the history here, where we we started, where we've come from, how we've gotten here, you know what I mean? So people can have a connection to our past. And there's a lot of really good pictures and things. And the city museum is not heavily utilized. The city hall would be a lot more utilized. And I think it'd be something that would create a pride, you know, in our city. People could say, this is who we are, but not in, you know, as an arts council, I think we could do it and make it very interactive and very beautiful, and make it us, you know, the citizens of Orem take a little bit more pride, I guess, in our town.
So is what I'm hearing is that you're willing to head up the committee on that?
I am. If it's something that we decide to move ahead with, you know, is propose it to the city council, you know. I want it to be an official arts council project. But yeah, if we did it, I would, because I have a lot of personal interest in it, because my family is big into the history here, and I know a lot about it too, you know, so.
Yeah, I just don't know anything about I don't know much about the space plan, because I haven't been in the conversation, but maybe talk to Debbie, see if she has any ideas. This is Pete Wolfley. He's helping me now that Nate Prescott has moved to Hawaii. Nate up and moved.
Yeah, it lives. Must be rough life.
Orem, Hawaii, Orem, Hawaii.
It's rough life.
Yeah, maybe bring it up with Debbie at a meeting that she's here, or I don't know. I have not honestly been in the planning meetings much, because my area is staying where it is. So.
So, probably get with Debbie to see if there are any plans to have that the Arts Council can have a wall to do a presentation.
Yeah, and I would, and Adam, I would love to work with you on that. You got access to tons of that kind of stuff. If we get approved, you know, if it's something that we can move ahead with. Does that sound okay, Adam? Sure. Cool. All right, I'll talk to her and let you know in our next meeting what she said.
Thank you, sir.
Bet.
Any more discussion on the city council presentation?
You're planning to be here for that?
Yes.
You're all welcome to attend, but just whoever's manning the podium kind of thing.
Is our, no, apologize for if this is repeating anything, I don't hear very well, but is our presentation to the city council, does that have anything to do with our perception of how the city council is operating in terms of the arts and how they're responding to the things that we propose or want to do, or the things that we see them doing that affect the arts in the town? I mean, or is it just sort of like a retrospective?
Generally, it's been a report, but I don't know. I mean, I know that we as a city are very interested in having the care tax renewed. And that's going to be a focus of information and education in the coming year, because we have had great success with that program in Orem. Other cities have followed suit, and it's really been a resource for arts and parks and rec and things like that. So I know that has been a recent kind of idea point.
I mean, I do have a little bit of an agenda here. Why I'm asking is that, and I apologize if this is embarrassing, Cody, but on Monday, I went to the groundbreaking for the Orem, the new Orem, the Hale Theater up in Pleasant Grove on the doTERRA campus. And it was probably the most positive, like, community unifying thing I've ever been at, in terms of the lieutenant governor being there, the mayor's there, the city council was there, all these people were there. It was just a positive experience. And the thing that I thought about the whole time was, boy, Orem really blew it, letting this theater get away from this town. And it seems to me that the city council had a major hand in letting the Hale Theater slip through our fingers, and not really making a home for them here, making a permanent place for them here. And all the years that they've been here, you know, and the contribution they made to our community. And now there's going to be, frankly, in my view, there's going to be a really big black hole in the cultural life of Orem, because they're not going to be here in a few years. And I don't know if the city council sees it that way, or if they, I just think they need to be reminded that they can't let this happen again if something else is perceived as a crucial part of the cultural life of the community, and that they need to be more proactive. And I don't even know if they're interested, frankly. You know, it'd be nice if Debbie was here, we could hear her perceptions of what the council's attitude is towards that. But I mean, it was a love fest, and it was an amazing, uplifting experience for the town, or the city of Pleasant Grove. And like I say, I just, I was inspired, you know, and I thought that we really swung and missed on that opportunity to make a home for that theater. And I mean, I don't know what the plans are for for when they move out of their current location. You know, I have no idea if that's going to turn into another theater, if it's going to be rented, if it's going to be used, if it's going to, what they're going to sell it, what's going to happen to it. But we don't have anything else like that in town. And now we don't have that in town, as of in a couple of years. And then to put the crowning, the frosting on the cake of their letting that go, and they cut their funding. As in my view, as kind of a little vindictive. Oh, you're going to leave town? Well, no more funding for you, despite the decades of contribution they've made to the town financially and education for children, all the things that they do. And it's an unfortunate situation. It's happened. It's done. So I think that it would be good to be able to think of some way we can use that as a learning experience as a town, as a city council, as an arts council, and look at ways that we can fill that hole, or make the reparations that we need to make. Anyway, sorry, my soapbox. Thank you.
I think a big discussion is, can anything be done with that place now? Because it's a gathering place for the town, and it's already set up. And if there's some organization like UVU or someone who can move in there and start a theater in there, I think that'd be great. You know, I mean.
But the city doesn't own that. So-
Cody would know, but I believe the understanding was that their scene shop and costume shop remain in that building, don't they?
They have what?
Won't the scene shop and the costume shop remain in the old building? They're not moving.
It is for now,
Yeah.
yeah. But, you know, there is a theater in there. So, I don't know. Well, it just depends on if someone comes and, you know, makes us an offer and wants to do it, and if that sets right with us, and yeah. You know.
And I just went to the Norder last night, and they have plenty of theaters in that building. I mean, it's probably 3 or 4 theaters in that building, I don't, 5, so I don't think they need another, well, that's right, you get a little involved with that, I mean.
Little.
What's this place you're talking about?
UU.
UVU.
UVM, yeah.
So you're saying we have enough theaters?
We've got a
Well,
huge
UVM.
theater
If we
complex.
want to partner with UVU, like if we're looking to build arts, we perhaps do have some partners in the community. I have to agree though, like, there may be a hole in Orem right now for a particular type of community involvement there. I don't know what that might look like, but if, it would be interesting to know if the city council is interested in developing arts programs in any particular way, or if that was just seen as a thing to let go and not do anything with that.
I just thought our presentation would be a place we could ask.
I think maybe the one thing that we're missing in this whole discussion, and I'm sad that Hill will be leaving Orem, is that Terra stepped up and gave them land and money.
Yes.
So it wasn't the city of Pleasant Grove that said, come, here's land and money, it was a private.
Well, I mean,
And so I think if some corporation or some place in Orem would have done that.
according to what was said at the presentation, the city was very involved.
Actually,
And,
Pleasant Grove
yeah.
stepped up big time and have.
Stepped up.
For us to do.
It-
I know there were attempts to find places in town.
Yeah, they've
but I
had a
don't know
couple
if
of
anybody
places,
ever
that-
really
in the old Midtown Village, they
pulled the
thought they
string
had a
to get it,
spot,
you
and
know.
the mall, they thought they had a spot, but it was all about fundraising and dollars.
Yeah.
But is Pleasant Grove doing the funding, like using the mechanism for funding the build, where they're doing like a municipal building type situation?
I'm not sure exactly how they're doing it, but, you know, they're bonding several $1 million to us that we'll have to pay back, but they're offering it to us and.
So, I mean, I think that there were talks to do some lending type power. I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know all the ins and outs. I think that certainly the council is very interested in arts to a limited degree because the care tax has been a huge success. I'm sorry, I'm not privy to how decisions are made at the care tax level. I think that is a council matter. We can use care tax funding for facilities the city owns, but not for programming, so there's always been that disconnect. I would imagine that a more kind of one-on-one approach would be better than something that feels like launching a bomb in a city council meeting, but I don't know. I mean, it's a tough issue. I mean, Sarah is greatly loved, Hale's very greatly loved. We, when we try and go to the state and other places for grants, Orem is not viewed as the arts desert that some other places are to, infuse with a lot of funding because we have very robust, wonderful things. Certainly any loss is a loss, and I understand that. And I love both organizations. I think that they are amazing and dedicated and have invested in this community and will continue to do lots of great things for arts in the area. But as far as what the brass tacks are of Orem in this decision, I can't really speak to that. I don't know. I know that it was a challenge to try and find the right spot and the right money, and they were fundraising as any agency does, and as sad as we are for us, we're happy for this amazing offer, but I don't think it could have been replicated here. But I can't say.
I think for the sake of the presentation though, that this has traditionally been, for the years that I've been here, it's traditionally been more of this is the nice things that we did this year. These are some of the nice things we hope to do in the future. I don't think this is the right place for censure. In terms of, we can say, we hope that the city council will work with us and others to fill the hole that's being left or something, but it's not a place to really put them on the spot and say, hey, this is sad, you blew it, hey, what are you gonna do about it? I really think this is what we've done, this is what we wanna do. We wanna bring you on board more to help so these things don't happen in the future maybe, but yeah, I think we just, like Cheryl said, it's probably not the place for, dropping a bomb and starting to point fingers. I don't know if that, if that's where we're going. It's just,
That could be
that's
done
how
in a city council meeting, but maybe not.
not as
this
our report.
presentation.
I mean, they have the 3-minute thing at the beginning. And I don't know if that's what we were getting, but that's where my feel for this conversation was going here. But I just don't know that that's the right place for it. Maybe it's probably a discussion that needs to be had, but I think as far as our city council presentation goes, it's probably not the place to.
Just one thing I just want to mention is we are here in Orem for at least the next 2 years. And we will still be giving our all to put on the best performances we can. So, and we'll do our best, without the money that we used to be getting. So,
Did they cut complete funding or partial?
completely.
For the next two years, you're not getting
No,
anything?
just boom, it's all gone. It's like,
You mean as soon as you made that announcement, they just cut you off?
they just cut us off. Well, I don't know, I think we asked and we tried and said, look, no, sorry, when it came time for funding, they just said, no, you're leaving us. So,
Yeah, I don't think
I
that's.
mean, that I
that's
don't think
pretty
sends
harsh.
a good signal.
That sounds a very bad
It
signal,
does.
like
and
we don't want you.
If that, we're not gonna do this, we're not out for spite or anything, but if that kind of information gets to the public, they may go, well, we're not giving money to the care tax. And it's up for election next time, I think. And so, and if that doesn't pass, then nobody gets any of that money.
Uh-huh.
So, just something to, be concerned about. It passed very well last time. And Adam and I worked very hard on that and had a really positive response from everyone to be willing to make that payment. Hopefully they still will, but I'm just saying, I hope that, people don't go, they what? Well, I'm not gonna give either, let's hope that doesn't happen. And this is an important thing for you guys, for everyone here, to have that care tax, and I hope that it continues, so.
Well, that may change the way that we want to present that as well. If the presentation that this council makes to the city justifying the use of these funds, that may influence whether or not that money comes back to us to use, so that's.
We don't receive care tax.
Oh, we don't?
No, we're not eligible because the city of Orem is an entity. You are not a separate entity, so the city of Orem can spend care tax on facilities,
Interesting,
parks, library hall,
but not.
parks. I'm trying to think of what our other facilities are, but we can't spend it on programming,
So
so.
it's not the one that funds the utility boxes.
Yeah, that is, because we are counting those that are connected to parks as part of the park facility. The outdoor stage was a facility, but I just want everyone to take care in building bridges, not walls. Because we see that and it takes a lot of effort to get back to a place where we are listening to one another. So I understand the frustration. I totally get it. I don't want this to become a weaponization of the care tax or this report, but it is very hard to get the genie out of the bottle when it comes out of attack mode. So I think there's always a good conversation to have. I think there's always a way to express frustration. I know that you came and spoke at one of the meetings or sent information into one of the meetings that was read out. So I understand the frustration. I love the arts, big fan of the arts, patron of the arts. Like everyone, having a little bit harder time post-COVID getting out of my house for everything, but I love it from Broadway to concert halls to school plays to dance groups to things on the stage out in the park. So how do we harness our efforts here for good? That's what I would just always ask that we keep our thoughts on.
I got a comment. The Health Center and Sarah have been really the big performing arts organizations in our town. We're gonna lose Health Center. What if we really beefed up Sarah and they filled that hole? I mean, what do you think, Adam? Is this something that Sarah would be interested in?
Yeah, I mean,
We're not the
They
Hale.
gave to you, so they should.
I think I would like to see the hole filled with, the most capable one I can think of in the town is your organization.
We're very sad about the Hale leaving too, but I think there's an opportunity to, we've loved the synergy we've had with the Hale for so many years, and I think there's an opportunity to explore something else too that can offer our community something great. We've had great synergy over the years and worked together on so many things, so we're very sad that they're leaving too. Like Charles said, how do you blame them though? I mean,
Yeah,
that was a sweet deal, right?
it was.
And
It was an offer we
that's hard to turn away from. So, I don't know that if we're trying to place a target on somebody, that the city council is the right place to put that target. But I don't think we should be putting targets on anybody. It is what it is, not gonna change, the ground's broken. So now what,
I agree,
what do we?
but my view is that the performing arts in Orem, the Sarah was the right arm and the Hale was the left arm, and it was like, those were the two things that were keeping us, and now we're one arm.
I don't disagree. I don't
There's not
disagree.
anything wrong with that.
But the Orem City Council didn't create that, They're not in charge of Pleasant Grove City or doTERRA or any of the other donors or partners, right? So, anyway, I think there's an opportunity to foster another group here that could provide something awesome. We've always celebrated our differences, that we're not semi-professional, we're not in the round, there's a lot of differences that I think it would be nice to still have variety in our community, and I don't know who that is or when, but anyway.
One of the things that I think would be great is if the city could continue to attract companies that could do this kind of thing, right? That's where the money needs to come from, right? And so, we're not on that committee, we don't know if there's new area, new land being open, there's very little land, right? For new buildings, new Qualtrics's, new people to move into our town and not somebody else's town. I think that could really help a lot.
Where is this meeting held, the council meeting, city council?
Across the hall.
When is this presentation to the city council?
December 13th.
Yeah,
It's Tuesday.
And it's really just a yearly wrap-up type thing.
Every board and commission just does a short report to the city council.
Yeah.
They're usually 10 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. This isn't something to bring up at that. It's a pretty big can of worms. But I think we could bring it up to Debbie and start talking to her.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who would.
When I communicated with Debbie about this, I got the feeling that she was very supportive, but I got the sense that she was like a voice crying in the wilderness. She didn't really have a lot of influence or didn't have a lot of support before.
Well, Debbie was one of the, I think she was the only member of the city council that said, what are you doing? You can't take this money from them, you're here.
That's
She was the
right.
only one.
That's,
And
okay.
so I'm very grateful to her for her stance, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
So in the interest of time, could we move to the next
Yeah.
item on the agenda? We have an update on the utility box part.
We had a subcommittee meet a little while ago and looked at all the art. Though I must admit, I'm not certain if we all kind of threw in our suggestions where we landed on the top 10 pieces. Did we?
We haven't necessarily landed on the top 10 pieces, but we reviewed that at the last Arts Council meeting, right? You guys saw that? So I put in the request, I inherited all of Nate Prescott's files because he was working on this and then he got a new job and we pulled Pete in because he's more technical than I am, he's more experienced in some areas. So we appreciate Pete for joining the utility box effort. So I looked through all of Nate's stuff and we needed a contract just a simple contract to purchase the use of the art from the artist for the specific purpose of here's gonna go on this box, and then if we used it in, say, advertising or, promotion. And legal's been very backed up, so I don't have that just yet. And as soon as we have that, we will finalize the 10 and work with the artist to pay them on $10.99. There was some damage to the first of the large boxes over by Sarah Park that was Cassie Barney's piece. And we're just gonna go ahead and replace that. And then we have a lot of back and forth on what to do with the second piece because it was a box in need of some sprucing up for sure with regard to whatever we did with it.
That box has a lot of vents, though, that you have to pick the right piece to go on there.
Yeah, it has a lot of vents, but we thought maybe we would reach out to Cassie and ask her for another just composed piece. She did some components. She is not technical, so she doesn't really like putting the components together. John took a shot at it. Nate was going to take a shot at it, but we thought about just asking her for, let me see if this was one of the pieces. But we don't know yet. We're just asking her about whether we could use it or not. Because then it wouldn't be the large face to have the vents running through and, worst comes to worst, if it doesn't look right, we go back to the smaller bits and components. But I sent her an email on that and she'd probably see that this weekend. I don't know if she looks as much in her Gmail during the week while she's teaching. So that is one option. And then Pete has been talking to the vinyl provider.
Sound Vision.
Yeah. Do you have any updates on?
Yeah, so I think the one we're gonna do next is in the park. I don't know if you've seen it over here in City Center Park. It's like 7 feet tall, or like 4 or 5 feet wide. It's along the walking path.
Yeah.
And who's the artist that?
Jess Smart Smile.
Yeah, so somebody has already submitted the art that we want to put on that one.
I have a picture of what it probably would look like.
Yeah. So that one is,
I have it on this thumb drive. Oh,
that's probably one that we're moving ahead with. It's not quite as critical that it be super warm weather as we previously thought. I don't know if we've got any particular.
The two new utility box collage or example, well, yeah, it popped up for a moment. That's the box you're talking about?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Is that the art we're using?
That was the art that Cindy arranged with Jess some years ago.
What is the art
I stacked
mean or
it.
signify?
I stacked the art too high on that one, so it would fit better without having distortion for scaling, because the piece he provided was very squarish as far as the piece goes. So all the pieces were very, very square, but this particular box is just more tall than some of the other ones. So that's the artwork. That's how it may look when it's on there. But they may decide, not to stack two like that. But that is the artwork that the city purchased, and
What is the art? What does it mean? I mean, what's going on there?
Where do you want it to
Art
be?
is up to the,
Yeah,
up to
What
the
do you see?
viewer.
What is this?
I think it just shows that a group of diverse people.
Yeah, it's colorful, it fits in with the alternative playground that's in this park, you know, it's just good vibes.
Right, simple, it's well seen from a distance.
It's very cheerful.
I just wonder what, art's supposed to send a message. Are we trying to send a message with this?
Art does not need to send a message. Art is about feeling and emotion, so it really is up to the beholder.
I will say, first of all, we are not sending a message with any art. I cannot be responsible for any messages inferred from any art. I'm not prepared to take that on.
to her.
It does show diversity though, which I like. It's, because there's so many different people there of different
All their
colors.
colors.
Just Mark Smiley has done public art in Provo and other places. He has a lot of more like graphic type seek and find art. I mean, it's playful, it's vibrant colors. Maybe it's more high energy as far as art goes. I don't know. That's up to the beholder. But so that's just one that Pete's been working on. We talked about doing like the restroom doors, and we're still talking about it, but Parks deals a lot with graffiti over there, and they're trying to figure out kind of the right approach to it. And so they suggested like these pavilion poles. One concern that we had was people rent these pavilions and you get the blue pavilion or the yellow pavilion. So we were trying to make sure that we didn't take away from the identification of the pavilion. Pete hasn't seen this one yet. I don't know if you think that something like this could tie into the yellow
Oh yeah,
pavilion.
that actually looks awesome, because, you can still see that it's the yellow pavilion, and then the art actually kind of complements it too, so.
Yeah, there's a couple of utility kind of, I'll call them boxes, but those little tiny outlet boxes and such that we have to deal with. But I thought, at least in my first attempt at this, that
Is
with
that
the
one
ta-
of the pictures that was, or one of the art?
yeah, so these are two. I took two of the arts that we went through as a committee and picked, and but
This
I
is
didn't-
the one that's kind of giving Parks the heartburn on the doors.
Because it looks like graffiti, yeah.
And not to say that, I really like this piece, so I'm not saying it looks like graffiti or it doesn't look like graffiti to me, but I understand that they have a lot of maintenance that they have to be responsible for over there. But we did have other pieces that did not necessarily look like more abstract, or that it was something that could in any way, shape, or form be confused, so.
I picked that one just simply because it had dark blue in it,
Yeah.
and it matched the pole kind of. Again, not wanting to go all the way down to the bottom of the pole, because you won't see a lot of that because of the tables, and there's more chances of it getting damaged as people bring in bikes and other stuff for their activities.
Plus then it is definitely the yellow pole, so.
Yeah.
I got a comment though. Are we, as an arts council, totally opinionless on a message, emotional or mental, that we're trying to send with art? We completely distancing ourselves from it. We were Family City USA. I think the successful towns have a culture you go into and they say, oh, this is what this city is. This is what this city does. If it's just abstract, if we're abstract, then let's be abstract. But I think we need to we should have some kind of personality in our town.
Would we be able to pin that down? If the point is to include everybody, it's gonna be real hard to say, this is who we are.
Is that the point, to
I mean, we
include everybody?
Shouldn't we?
We talked
I
about.
don't know, because if we're Family City USA, we have a personality. You know what I mean?
But families come in all different shapes and sizes and lots of different ways. I don't think you could pin down what the family means to a bunch of different groups of people.
We can attempt it.
I think we're just trying to give people opportunity to enjoy a variety of arts, not just as visual consumers, but a place for artists of all backgrounds to say, I can maybe have my art put up somewhere,
It's just across the
I
city,
mean,
yeah.
it's, you know, we put out a general call that just said, hey, show us your art. We gave no stipulations. They just said, show us your art, and if we like it, we might put it up. And we got a variety, and we haven't, as we looked at it, we didn't try to narrow it down based on any kind of ideology. It was just, it looks good and it might work on a box.
And family is such a large concept. You could, with these two examples, you could say, okay, look, here's on the left, the start of a family unit, you know, there's a love scene there. Over here, family life is messy, and that's what that represents. So if you wanna, you know,
I can
put
see
some kind of message on it.
I mean, just as me, I think this is a park with young kids, you know, and families and groups and whatnot. I think personally, we shouldn't go too I wouldn't go abstract. I think an art museum, sure, but in a park, I don't see it. That's me. And I'm on the Arts Council, so I get to have an opinion.
But it's not intended to be the city branding though, or the messaging of the city necessarily, it's just art.
But I think it
Of
does
all
send
kinds.
a message though. I mean, we can't say art is messageless, you know what I mean? We can't say, we're just gonna do art and we don't care what the art is. We can't do that. You can't put obscene pictures up, you know, and say, well, that's just art.
No, I mean, we're not putting, we have no intent to put obscene pictures.
I love the idea it's adding color, right? It's adding color with the green that we already have in the background. And it's coloring things that are normally dull looking and ugly. So if I can improve on ugly, even a little bit, I don't know that I need to have a story behind it. If it's improving my eyesight, part of it, I'm happy about that, right?
I would then say, all right, Centennial Elementary kids, let's go and paint a pole and put whatever things you want, and then there's some connection. I'm trying to connect.
These do connect, these are artists from the community, this absolutely connects to the community.
And there's someone in there
There's some
that's a
kids in
kid.
there. Yeah, there's some in there from kids.
You know, and a little explanation then would be nice.
I think that's the key. I think if we could put on the vinyl itself or somewhere, the
Where it
artist.
came from, who they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
something.
little bit of something.
Go to the artist or something like that.
That brings meaning.
Is
I
this
think that's
your,
where you're headed.
is this part of the poll or is
That
this?
exists on the pole.
Oh, so we were planning to build into the vinyl some way for people to tie the art to the artist and to give credit to, you know, the program.
Yeah, if it can explain, oh, I was thinking this when I painted this or something, but just to go and see a bunch of abstract stuff to me, yeah, it puts confusion in my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on in this world, you know?
Didn't we also talk about a little something that said Orem Arts Council or something?
Yeah, and I was thinking that idea, but if it's on the poll, if we were just gonna build in a little standard kind of,
You could do a QR code, because everybody has a phone, right?
Yeah.
And then they could learn all that information that he's asking about.
An artist statement,
I think
the QR code.
Yeah.
maybe, I think it'd be cool to print it on there, but, I mean, QR coded is still, in my opinion, abstract almost, you know?
Oh, you can make it this big though, so you could put it, and even not, maybe down below it or whatever, right? And then I can look on it and I can read pages of pages
Yeah, could you
of
just,
what he wanted.
to learn more about
You can
this
make it this
piece,
big.
go here.
Yeah.
well, and then we were hoping, you know, to kind of have the different locations, point people to, you know,
Yeah.
be on the lookout for whatever, and if it's a
Learn more
website,
about
it's
art in
more.
Orem City,
Well-
like you can send them anywhere.
Something that would tie it in so they go, all right, what am I supposed to get out of this? And then they go, oh, and then you go to this Orem City page and it says, we're trying to promote blank. Why? Because, and we explain ourselves a little bit. I think just to throw up art is not that meaningful unless it's very understandable. You're like, oh yeah, well that's a man and a woman, fine, you know? But if you don't, you know, you gotta have some explanation. I mean, you know, Cody, when you put on a play, you give back ground, you say, here's all the cast, here's the history of it. You don't just put on a play and they're, you know, and everyone's like, what the heck's going on, you know?
And I think that that's kind of the point we're in, is just at the risk point. So you're gonna see it and you're gonna think, I don't love it, but somebody else is gonna think it, I love that, that's cool. I mean, that's just kind of where,
That's
that's just kind
art.
of where
That's
a public
That's art.
art program is gonna go. We've had that already.
That's true.
The vast majority of people love the couple of testers that we threw out there. A few of them were like, I don't like that, but
Some person said it was witchcraft. and-
yeah, I mean, you just don't know, so.
I mean, in truth, if it sparks discussion, then we've done our job.
Yeah.
But-
This summer I visited Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and every box, everywhere, had artwork on it. I was driving too fast to stop, to his point, and look and see what was there, but it told me it was a classy place, it told me it was colorful, it told me it was clean, because there wasn't any spray paint on it. It told me a lot of things, but I still didn't have a chance to stop and see what the painting was. So if we get anything out of it at all, I think it's that.
Yeah, and our intent with the care money and doing it in facilities was to try and seed it and then hope that, well, this box is by my business, maybe I'll sponsor, you know, that, or get more participation from different agencies and things like that, but it's definitely,
Then I would put up a QR code that explains all that. Because nobody, I mean, people are gonna jump to conclusions, you know? And I think if we're trying to accomplish something, we need to tell people. You know what I mean?
yeah, sure. Yeah, my favorite box in Orem for years was on Orem Boulevard, and somebody had done a picture, like a simple portrait of Dwight Schrute from The Office. And so it was just like, you know, it would just bring a smile on my face as I would drive by, and I'd be like, that's the kind of graffiti I really love, because they, you know, they took it on to brighten my day. But I mean, certainly this is not graffiti, this is art, but,
Just real quick, what do you need help with to get that next box up?
I think I have the art, and I like the rendition you did, so I think I can get that from you. Just so you know how it looks on when we lay it out on the full canvas.
Okay.
Because you said you split it, like you cut it and then stacked it on top of each other?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I'll visit with you after.
Okay.
So the next item, we're over time. The next item is local arts agency grant.
it's quick, I put it in, we got it, so we can pay our bills for this year. We always try and go after it, and it's essentially spent on the summer concert series, but that's at least money that we got in to spend on the summer concert series, so I've tried to talk to them about how to get that grant increase. We got $4,000, which honestly is a pretty good amount for us. We've had, I think our low has been 2,500 and then 3, and I've applied for 10, I've applied for 20, I've applied for 5, and part of it is, you know, where does the state invest art money into smaller local arts agencies? Because everyone in every city can have one, and if you are a small town trying to put on a community theater piece, that there will be no theater in the town unless you put this on. I mean, that might rate higher. I don't know. We try to do limited showcasing on different types of styles and formats and presenters, but so yeah, we try. We did a series of Orem Creates because we thought that having Orem creating the art would be the big seller, and it didn't make much of a difference, but it was an interesting year. So that's all it is. They did it on continuing resolution, so we were just on pins and needles to see if we would get money at all, as all grants tend to put you on pins and needles, but we got some. So.
Anything else before we adjourn?
So as far as what we're gonna take out of this, and what we're gonna do, from what I understand, I'm gonna talk to Debbie about a presentation, Orem City meeting. You, Michael Smith, are gonna talk to Debbie also, right, about,
Well, I already did, but I will again.
you know, about something we can,
I mean, you know, if we don't think it's a good idea to mention this at our presentation, then maybe we need to think about a future city council meeting in which we schedule time and we go in and to talk about that specific issue. Or including other specific issues that affect us as a group and the town, you know,
right,
if that's the universal theory, you know, whatever.
okay. Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, everyone.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second? Favor?
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks,
before you-
everyone.
as long as we follow the
Meetings that
way,
started coming.
we can still come to your plays right,